It's the sixth and final meeting between the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds this regular season as they drop the puck at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It is indeed the sixth and final meeting between these two teams in the regular season, and the Prowlers are still searching for their first win over the Thunderbirds, 0-3-2 up to this point. It's also the seventh and final game of the 7 games in 9-day stretch the Prowlers have been facing for the last week plus. And before they get an opportunity to take a break, 60 more minutes, or maybe more, of hockey. And we have it all coming up for you on the PHP Network. Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Back here in Winston-Salem, we're just minutes away from puck drop between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds as we get set for the final game between these two teams in this regular season. But first, let's take a look back at last night's game. And it was one of the best games of the season if you're a fan of great goaltending. 2-1 Carolina the final, but both Makar Sokolov and Frankie McClendon put on a show. 40-plus saves apiece, some of them with high degrees of difficulty, and they did all they could to give their teams a chance to win. And unfortunately, one of them had to put a loss in their record. It turned out to be an overtime loss for Makar Sokolov as Josh Keplinger scored twice, the tying goal in the third, and the winner in overtime. And he gave the Thunderbirds a come-from-behind win after the Prowlers seemed like they were able to shut the Thunderbirds down most of the game. Again, backstopped by Sokolov, who did a brunt of the work. But unfortunately for the Prowlers, they fall again to the Thunderbirds 0-3-2 against Carolina now this season. And it's very rare that you see two teams play each other and both of them drop in the standings. Well, that's what we saw last night as the Columbus River Dragons won in regulation, so they jump over the Thunderbirds. Carolina should have 49 points, and Columbus now hitting 50 points, the first team in the Continental to hit the 50-point mark. Meanwhile, the Mississippi Seawolves, with their win, come into a tie with the Prowlers in points, and they get the tiebreaker with overall wins 11-10. So now the Seawolves jump over the Prowlers and back into third place in the Continental Division. And the Prowlers are relegated back down to fourth. So we'll see if either of these teams will be able to jump back into the spots they were at the start of last night's game or not, as both the River Dragons and the Seawolves will be in action tonight. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on the scores around the FPHL as we do every game all season long. We mentioned McClendon. He had a great game last night, and he's going to be relied upon as the guy, at least for the foreseeable future, with Mario Cavalieri joining the Peoria Rivermen. Frankie McClendon is now the really only pro goaltender on the roster right now. They've signed Anthony Butrico, who is more of a emergency backup, more of an e-bug for the Thunderbirds, as he's not expected to see any ice time at all unless, again, there's an emergency. So McClendon is going to be the guy, and really that has not been his career. He's been a career journeyman backup, played for many different teams. He's won, and he's certainly in the top tier of backup goaltenders in this league, maybe the best. backup goaltender in this league, true backup, of course. There are plenty around the FPHL that few that have tandems that you see a little bit more even. That's what we have here in Port Huron with the Prowlers, with Ian Wallace and Makar Sokolov. But McClendon is probably the best true backup in the FPHL, but it's time to see if he can carry the load. He is 3-0 against the Prowlers this season, though, and has played very well since joining the Thunderbirds this season after his release from Danbury. For the Prowlers, Austin Federley is riding a 4-game point streak after his goal last night. He has 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points over the last 4 games. That includes 2 goals in Motor City back on New Year's Eve. He had 1 in Mississippi, and again the one last night. All part of that 4-game point streak for Federley. 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points in that point streak for the Port Huron native Austin Federley. Well, he'll be moving back to defense again tonight as the Prowlers have decided to scratch Dalton Young, with Tucker Scantleberry returning from suspension tonight. So Young is the one who gets scratched, Federley taking his spot on the back end. And a little bit of shakeup on those bottom 2 pairs. The top pairing stays the same on the back end with Mitch Jones and Alex Johnson. Frank Schumacher will now be paired with Braden Deck. And Adam Heinzel goes down to the 3rd pairing with Austin Federley. Prowlers will have Dalton J. rejoin Matt Graham and Liam Freeborn on the top line where Federley was last night. Dan Chartrand sliding up to join Sam Merritt and Tristan Sim on the 2nd line, and Brandon Picard will now be with Evan Foley and Tucker Scantleberry for tonight's game. As they announce the starters here in Carolina, let's take a look at the Prowlers starting lineup, which we'll give to you right now. It is that 2nd line with Dan Chartrand, Sam Merritt, and Tristan Sim going tonight, while the top pairing, defensive pairing of Alex Johnson and Mitch Jones will start once again. And in net tonight, Makar Sokolov. That is your Orthopedic Associates starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers tonight, as they will try and get their first victory over Carolina this season. Let's take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies and tonight's national anthem here from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. There we have tonight's national anthem from Winston-Salem. It is healthcare night here at the Annex as the Thunderbirds are wearing specialty purple uniforms for tonight's game. But before we drop the puck, as they work on the ceremonial puck drop, let's take a look at the starting goaltenders. It's the same starting matchup as last night's game. Makar Sokolov, 43 saves last night. 5-3-2 with a 3.6 goals against average and a .901 save percentage, going up against Frankie McClendon. 40 saves last night. He's now 4-2-0 with a 2.84 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. And of those 4 wins, 3 of them have come against the Prowlers this season. Sam Merritt's line starting out there tonight for the Prowlers. That's Merritt, Chartrand, and Sim. Top pairing of Mitch Jones and Alex Johnson will also begin for Port Huron. Thunderbirds countering with the third line of Nate Keeley, Jacob Schnapp, and John Batita. It will be James Farmer and Justin Bioni on the back end, and we are underway. Merritt trying to work it up, and it's dumped in by Chartrand, and Farmer first one on it. He'll take a hit from Merritt, and now it's Keeley. Turning back the other way, head up, fires a pass up towards Schnapp, but an interference penalty coming up. And after no penalties in the opening period last night, we only need 25 seconds to find our first one tonight, and it's going to the Thunderbirds captain, John Batita. So the Prowlers' quality power play, which was 0 for 1 last night, only did get 1 opportunity. Well, head to work. Tucker Scantleberry right back out there for his first shift of the night. After he was suspended last game, he'll be part of this power play with Johnson, Jones, Freeborn, and Graham. Graham at the side of the cage gets it out to Freeborn. And now Johnson whiffed on the pass, and Nate Keeley trying to go the other direction. Keeley works around the net, shoved off by Johnson, who will take the puck. Graham up the left wing side, looking for Freeborn. That was poked away. Freeborn has it back, gets it behind the net to Scantleberry in front, looking for Graham, and he couldn't connect. Freeborn to Graham, across Jones, stopped by McClendon. Rebound pops out. Prowlers keep it alive. Freeborn down to Graham. Up top, Johnson. One-timer by Jones, hit a stick, and McClendon's able to gather it in and cover up halfway through this Prowlers power play. So a couple of shots there for the first unit for the Prowlers. They'll switch things up ahead of this offensive zone face-off. Foley, Sim, Picard, Jay, and Federley on this man advantage unit, and Foley will draw with Gus Ford. One back to Federley. He'll feed it over. Picard down to Foley, trying to stuff attempt. 2 shots stopped by McClendon. Picard to Foley behind the net. Has his head up. Looks to Jay. Federley. One touches it over to Picard. Foley again. They play catch, and now Federley gets involved. Picard again. Let it down low. That was tipped by Farmer. Foley skates it and passes up high. 19 seconds left on the Prowlers power play, as Ford is able to steal that pass and dump it down. That should take care of the rest of it. Prowlers with 4 shots on that man advantage, but we're back to 5-on-5 as Batita steps out of the box. And now Batita has the puck. He'll dump it in. Schnapp heading after it. Works it back up to Batita. Out high to the point. Clay Keeley risked that one through. That changed direction. Sokolov able to kick it out with the right pad. Federley up to the line. Keeley kept it in. His shot, another right pad save for Sokolov. And then the shot back in. Comes down to the crease. And Batita robbed on the doorstep by Makar Sokolov. It's worked over to Justin Movalli. Batita's pass up a stick. And that one comes out of play as Scantlebury was trying to dump it out. That was deflected. So no penalty to the Prowlers. It'll just be a face-off outside of Port Huron's end. Off the draw comes all the way back to Carolina ice. Braden Crow quick up to Ford. He gave it away to Foley. Now Scantlebury to Picard. He touches it in. And he chases after Grebenikov. Thunderbirds working out, but Baker's pass couldn't find Ford cleanly. Gus Ford will dump it around. Comes all the way for Picard. His pass to Scantlebury was behind. Johnson backs him up. He'll dump it in to the far side corner. Prowlers get some fresh bodies on the ice as Ford gives it over to Josh Keplinger, who had 2 goals last night. Ford with a backhand, and Sokolov with the save. Bioni dumped it out all the way down. Icing called against the Thunderbirds. There's 4:15 into period 1. Prowlers get 4 shots on the power play, but Carolina has had the only 4 shots since. Both goaltenders have stopped them all. Still no score. Graham unit out there for the Prowlers against Gus Ford's line, who's had a long shift. It's dumped around towards Farmer. Tries to work it up. Now Jay behind the net. Out high, Johnson rips one. It was blocked and worked out to center. Freeborn trying to get back in. He gave it away though. Panacek able to pull it through on a breakaway. Makes a move and he scores. Peter Panacek tipped it by, got himself all alone, and he makes a move around Sokolov, and the Thunderbirds open the scoring early on tonight. And the team leader in assists. His 5-game point streak snapped last night. And now Peter Panacek has his 6th goal of the year. Puts Carolina in front early on tonight. He'll take the draw against Merritt as the Prowlers now face a deficit for the first time this weekend. Pastuca dumps it out to Panacek. He lost the handle. Now Federley behind the net. Bounces off the back wall to Heinzel. Panacek tried to fire it across. He hit Sim. It was right on top of him, but they're able to work it out. Movalli up the left wing side. Wrist shot on Sokolov right into the breadbasket, and he'll hang on for a whistle. 14:39 left to go in period 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Back here in Winston-Salem, 1-0 Carolina. Yuri Pastuka picking up the assist, and Dominic Dumas has just been added as the secondary assist on Peter Panacek's goal. That is the full second line with Jan Salak unavailable this weekend. Certainly looked a lot different than when those three are on the ice together, Salak, Pastuka, and Panacek. It is something to marvel at a little bit sometimes, just the chemistry that those three have and their ability to know exactly where each other is at all times. So certainly did look a little bit different last night, and now the Prowlers are going to the box as high sticking is the call. That call being made by the back referee Kenny Moniz. And he's pointing at Adam Heinzel. So now Carolina will get an opportunity on the power play. Referees are Kenny Moniz and Michael Levisier. The linesmen Lucas Rieger and Terry Patzel. Thunderbirds power play was 0 for 3 last night. Still ranked 4th in the FPHL. Prowlers penalty kill cracking 70%, but still last in the league. Pastuka gloves it down at the line. Gerbenikov fed it back. Now walking in was Panacek to Pastuka. His wrist shot right into Sokolov. He'll hang on for a whistle. Excuse me, that was Keplinger, not Gerbenikov, who made that pass. Thunderbirds have a few guys wearing different numbers tonight. Keplinger, from his usual 28, is wearing 16. Gerbenikov is wearing 18 instead of his usual 13. And Mo Valley also going from 23 to 21 tonight. Braden Crow switching from 16 to number 5, or 15 from number 5 tonight. These things happen during specialty jersey nights because you order them so far in advance, you never know who's going to be on the team when they finally do arrive. Comes out in front. That shot off a stick and wide. Baker works it to Pastuka, gets it back. He'll find Ford. Now Pastuka again at the top, walks in, shoots, blocked by Chartrand. Just kept in by Pastuka at the line. Great play by him. Baker around the cage. Out to Ford. He'll pick it up off the boards. Pastuka gives it back. Ford up high, looking for a lane, and he scores! Gus Ford on the power play makes it 2-0. Just over 7 minutes into this one. And what a rip from Gus Ford. He found that perfect spot through traffic. He picks the top corner with plenty of bodies in front. Just like that, the Thunderbirds have a 2-0 lead. And Schnapp dumps it back in. Sokolov will leave it for Johnson. Graham trying to work it out, but it's taken away by Keeley. Schnapp in front. That one steered out by Sokolov. Schnapp bats it out in front. Glove down by Butita. Turnaround shot, and he scores. And just like that, 3 early goals for the Thunderbirds. These last 2 coming in a span of 26 seconds. It's 3-0. And just maybe the tired legs of the Prowlers, playing their 7th game in 9 days, are finally showing their wear tonight. Carolina's been all over the Prowlers. And Chris Paulin has called timeout. It looks like Ian Wallace is getting ready on the Prowlers bench. For Makar Sokolov, who's been fantastic in his last 2 starts, they go back to him. He'll end up getting pulled after allowing 3 goals on 8 shots at the start of this one. And really, I don't think it's as much of a Makar Sokolov problem as it is an entire team problem. And Chris Paulin very animated on the Prowlers bench, trying to get his team going. And Wallace will come in to replace Sokolov. And after the Prowlers timeout, we'll get another face-off at center. Prowlers have a massive hill to climb, as Ford and Foley get set for this face-off. Prowlers had the early power play, but since then it's been all Carolina, 5-on-5, and with their man advantage working. And again, Prowlers playing their 7th game in 9 nights, with lots of travel in between, over 2,000 miles of travel in between up to this point. They still have to go home to Port Huron after this. Add some more miles on the bus. And maybe it's all catching up to them here early on tonight. And Scantlebury dumps Baker, and Baker flies off his stick, and then 2 Thunderbirds come after Scantlebury with the referee right in the middle. One of the linesmen was going over to separate it, and 2 Thunderbirds came jumping over the linesman. And now we have a brawl with a linesman at the bottom of it. Scantlebury threw a hit on Baker. Baker flipped around and flung his stick to the boards. And then the the linesmen were going to break it up, and 2 Thunderbirds came absolutely flying in while the linesman was right in the middle. Movalli and Grebenikov were the 2 Thunderbirds. They are in the penalty box right now. Braden Crow also involved. He's in the box. Scantlebury and Foley being escorted to the Prowlers penalty box. We'll see if this is a bit of a wake-up call for the Prowlers, as things getting rough early on. Again, last night, not much in the way of penalties. But tonight, with it already being a 3-0 game, Scantlebury threw the hit on Baker. And again, Baker just flipped around and flung his stick after that hit. Maybe trying to sell the call just a little bit. I'm not saying it wasn't a hard hit. I'm not saying he wasn't expecting it, but I'm saying he should have been expecting it. It's not what I'm saying, but he flung his stick to the boards, maybe trying to sell a call a little bit here in the home building, get the crowd going. And then it all broke loose as Scantlebury was being escorted by a linesman who came over to grab him. 2 Thunderbirds came flying in, jumping on top of the linesman and Scantlebury, throwing punches the whole way down. And then Foley and Crow got involved away from the pile as they were tying each other up. Not sure if there were any real punches thrown in that one, but they'll have to figure some things out here. 11:47 left to go in period 1. At the very least, an opportunity for Ian Wallace to stretch out, get himself into the game. 3 Thunderbirds in the box to 2 Prowlers. And plenty of talking being done. And now Mo Valley is stepping out of the box. And Mo Valley is going to be the first one to the showers tonight, as he is to the locker room, just 8:13 into the opening period. Thunderbirds, who are already only playing with 9 forwards and 6 defensemen tonight, will now be down to 5D. And that's the first domino to fall. Nothing up on the scoreboard yet on either side. So now it's 2 Thunderbirds in the box, 2 Prowlers in the box, and 1 Thunderbird in the dressing room. As Steve Harrison getting the explanation from the referees over at his bench. First year as the coach of the Thunderbirds. Of course, a longtime head coach in the FPHL. Won a championship with the Danville Dashers in 2017. That's another Barry Soskin-owned team, and that's my way of letting you know that Barry Soskin will be joining us here on the broadcast between the second and third period, so stick around for the second intermission report to hear from the Prowlers, Thunderbirds, etc. owner. We'll chat about Texas, we'll chat about Danville, the possibility of that becoming a new thing. So again, be sure to stick around for that. The Prowlers trying to figure things out. Right now, just 2 up on the board on the Prowlers side for Scantlebury. And it looks like they are lining up for Thunderbirds power play. We'll see again what else might come down. Nothing has come down on my stat sheet yet. They're working very hard to make sure that they get everything right and everything complete. Thunderbirds are a 1-for-1 on the man advantage tonight, and they'll get their second. Right now, it looks like a 5-on-3 unless Dalton Jay is going to join the play. And he will, so 5-on-4 advantage for the Thunderbirds after all that. With Scantlebury picking up the extra 2, which I believe was the original call on the hit. So we'll let you know all the penalties as soon as they come down. Here's Baker giving it to Pastuca. Prowlers hoping to kill this one off and keep it from getting way out of hand. Pastuca down low, tipped up in the air. Graham batting at that puck, and it's backhanded down by Jay. Crowd reacting to Graham's stick coming up near the face of Keplinger, but didn't actually hit it. But crowd still thought there should have been a penalty. Here's Keplinger in. His shot was stymied from behind by Jones, and then Merritt's able to get it out. He's hustling after the puck, but Pastuca turns it the other way. Heinzel fires it down. Pastuca collects in his own end. That one dumped around. Panacek behind the net. Hangs out there, looking for options. Out high to Baker. Was tied up by Picard. Heinzel after that loose puck, but it's taken back by the Thunderbirds. Here's Baker to Ford. That's where he scored earlier. Feeds it to Keplinger. Tried to find it a backdoor feed, but he couldn't do it. Puck stays in though. Pastuca loading up the wrist shot. He'll send it to the middle of the ice. Bounced around, and I think Wallace had to make a save there. Ford fed it across. Now Baker back to Ford. 15 seconds left on the Prowlers PK as Wallace makes a blocker save. Comes up to Ford again. Panacek winds, fires off a stick and wide. Baker back out high to Panacek. He fires again, sticked out by Sokolov. into the seats. And we'll take a timeout. We'll give you all the penalties when we come back. But the Prowlers kill off the power play. Still trail 3-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at the Annex, 3-0 Thunderbirds, 9:46 left to go in the opening period. Let's give you the penalties now that they've all finally come down. We've been able to sort everything out. Scantleberry and Grebenikov each get 5 for fighting. Scantleberry and Foley. Scantleberry got the extra 2 for elbowing. That was the original penalty. Foley and Crow get 2 for roughing. And then Mavali gets the 10-minute misconduct, and he's ejected for a third man in. So those are all your penalties, and certainly the league will be taking a look at that. And I think Mavali might be the one most likely in trouble, as again, he was jumping in over top of a linesman trying to get after Scantleberry. That's certainly a tough look. Department of Player Safety has been busy this year. There's another suspension handed out today, which we'll tell you about in the FPHL storylines during the first intermission. Defensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers. Graham and Nick Keeley to take it. And it's one back to Federley, trying to wrist it out, ends up coming back to him. This time he'll go off the glass and finally lands at center. Now Clay Keeley up to Schnapp, tips it along. Nate Keeley cutting to the middle, his shot goes wide. He and Federley go into the wall together. Now it's Butita with the puck. Out high to Clay Keeley. He'll dump it deep. Twins out there on the ice, Nate and Clay Keeley. Don't see them out there together too often. One a forward, one a defenseman. As Clay Keeley puts a hip check on Freeborn. Graham being hassled by 2 Thunderbirds. That puck dumped deep. And the arm is up in the air from a linesman, maybe offside. The call there. Maybe the Prowlers dumped it in offside. And they blow it dead, so 8:50 to go in period number 1. Well, the face-off just outside of the Thunderbirds' end. Merritt and Panacek in on this face-off, and Merritt wins it back clean. Heinzel wrists it around. Bioni plays it off the boards. Now Chartrand in deep, dumped by Bioni. Pops out to Sim. Now Deck, D to D to Heinzel. He'll wrist it through, juggled and held by Frankie McClendon. Now Bioni and Chartrand with a few words and a couple shoves for each other. Those two fought earlier this year. Maybe we'll see a round 2 between them. Face-off will come deep in Thunderbirds territory. Both teams making changes, and Chartrand and Bioni barking all the way to the player benches. Graham and Ford will take this draw. Crow rims it around. Keplinger touches it along. Jones able to keep it in. Freeborn to Johnson. One-timer goes wide. Clay Keeley up to Keplinger. Fires it across. Crow picks it up, gets it out. Prowlers trying to turn it right back in. It's Jay. It's shot off a stick and flies out of play. Crow gave Jay an extra slash. He didn't like that. Meanwhile, Baker and Johnson having a chat. And I think they'll both head to the penalty boxes. So this one will be even. And they'll both give them 2 minutes for roughing, I believe, aside. Looked like the signal from the referee. So we'll get some 4-on-4 hockey here. Prowlers sending out Foley, Picard, Heinzel, and Federle. The Ford and Keplinger staying out there. Farmer and Bioni coming off the bench to join them. There's Farmer. Holding behind his own net. He'll skate out with it. Now Farmer tried to feed it to the middle of the ice. Heinzel tripped behind the net, and they'll get Baker for that, or Keplinger for that. Fans don't like it, but the stick was in the skates of Adam Heinzel, and Josh Keplinger will head to the box. Prowlers will get a 4-on-3 power play. As I was wrong, they weren't roughing calls against Johnson and Baker. They were cross-checking calls. I thought the referee was doing roughing with both fists because both of them got penalties. I think I may have overthought that one a little bit. But I do know the signal for tripping, and that's what we saw there. And the Thunderbirds fans disagreeing with the call made by the referee, as they do with most penalties called in this building. So 4-on-3 power play. Prowlers have Federle, Picard, Graham, and Jones out there. Jones to Federle, gets it back. Wrist shot, stopped by McClendon. And Pastuca will hold and fire it down. Pastuca, Schnapp, and Clay Keeley out there for the kill, as Wallace rims it around to Picard. Up the left wing side to Graham. Fires it across to Jones, and thought the Prowlers were onside there, but the linesman, who had a better look at it than I did, disagrees. And we'll get a face-off just outside of Thunderbirds territory. Prowlers send out 4 new players. It's Jay, Merritt, Sim, and Freeborn, so 4 forwards. Thunderbirds sticking with the same 3 killers. And an unfair puck drop there. It didn't seem like Schnapp was ready for it, so they'll do it again. A little chatting going on in the penalty boxes between Baker and Scantleberry. Meanwhile, on the ice, it's Sim finding Merritt at the Thunderbirds blue line. Sim gets it back. He'll set up in the corner. Saucer pass comes out high to Jay. Now to Freeborn. Gives it back. Jay to the back door, and McClendon got his paddle in the way with Merritt standing there on the backside. Sim walks in looking for Jay. Good stick by Pastuca to get in the lane. Comes back out to Jay. 43 seconds left in the Prowlers power play. It will be 5-on-4 in 20 seconds when Johnson and Coutinho come out of the box. Quick shot, as Baker, will come out of the box, as Sim's shot was blocked. Jay walks in, finds Freeborn. Down to Sim in front. Puck bouncing around. Schnapp able to control it with his skates and get it out, but Johnson, fresh out of the box, will try and work it back in. He dumps it around. 10 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. Schnapp digging away for it. He's been out there for a while. He gets it to Baker, and now he joins a 2-on-1. It's now a 3-on-1. Here's Schnapp to the forehand, and a good save by Wallace. Back to 5-on-5. Puck pops out in front. Keplinger trying to control it. He can. He's wrestled down, and Schnapp's in tight chance. Stopped by Wallace. Keplinger wants a penalty as he was battling with a Prowler for that puck. Up to Chartrand, and now Graham will cycle back. Scantleberry is still left in the penalty box. So is Grebenikov. So we are 5-on-5 on the ice as Graham backhands it to the point. Deck goes D-to-D to Federley. Wrist shot deflected, and McClendon got enough to send it high into the protective netting. And we'll take a break. 4:51 to go in period one. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Imagine a world without pepperoni. Ugh, okay, enough of that. Now, imagine layer upon layer of pepperoni. That's Hungry Howie's Pepperoni Duo Pizza. Our fresh-made dough and 100% real mozzarella cheese topped with traditional pepperoni and a layer of our classic cup pepperoni for layer upon layer of flavor on flavor. For a limited time, just $9.99. Don't just imagine yourself enjoying one. Come get one now.
Hungry?
Howie's! Back here in Winston-Salem, Prowlers still trailing by 3 with 4:51 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight in Game 7 of the 7 games in 9 days for the Prowlers. And the exhaustion may be showing a little bit early on in this one. Port Huron has settled down, though, since that last goal that came 7:29 into this period. We have now played over 15 minutes in the period. Things haven't settled down physically, though, as both teams receiving a number of penalties. We saw fighting majors handed out. We saw an ejection for third man in to Justin Movalli. And it's obvious these teams do not like each other, as Merritt works up the right wing side. Chartrand and Bioni, two guys who really don't like each other, going to the wall together. Schnapp trying to work it out. Instead, it's Sim at the point. Leaves it for Merritt. A couple players battling in front now. Heinzel on the one-timer. He didn't get all of it. Butita the other direction. 4 Prowlers back. Butita tries to do it all himself, and he got a good shot away. Couldn't find the back of the net, though. Caleb Williams coming out for the Prowlers. Gave it away to Butita, who bounces it in on Wallace. He'll scoop it up for a whistle and a face-off. 3:42 left to go in period number 1. Shots on goal in this period, 15-8 in favor of the Thunderbirds, and they have the only 3 goals of the game so far. Dumas on the right wing boards. Curling back, he ran into Heinzel. Pastuka couldn't handle that pass in the slot. And now Heinzel again. Tried to get to Williams off his skate. Prowlers have to touch up. Meanwhile, it's Pastuka out the other way. Sends it across looking for Panacek. He'll have to recollect. And he cycles it around to Dumas. Federley stepped in front of him. And Foley gets out. And he gets the Thunderbirds blue line backhander on net. Swallowed up by McClendon. for a whistle. It's an offensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers as Frankie McClendon, who made 40 saves last night, has now made his 9th of tonight's game. Graham and Ford in on this draw. Farmer rims it up high. It comes to the point to Johnson. Wrist shot through, deflected, but wide as Freeborn got his stick on it. Keplinger going out to Ford. In front, Baker didn't get all of the one-timer. The net comes off, and the Thunderbirds fans want Ian Wallace's head for that. They'll come back and fix the net. And I'll say this, if Ian Wallace is doing it on purpose when he slides across like that, it's very impressive to think that, have that go through your mind while you're just sliding across and trying to make a save, to think, oh, why don't I kick out my leg as well and knock the net off? Really, all it's on his mind is just trying to reach across and make the save. As a turnaround shot, he makes this save on Keplinger. My point being that it would take a lot of practice and intentionality to kick off the net. Sliding back and forth like that, especially when you're focused on the 2-on-1 backdoor pass. And Baker, his shot from the slot misses high. Ford rims it around. Fans want a penalty. As Scantleberry gets the blue line. He gets in. Clay Keeley rubs him out. Puck pops out to the middle of the ice. Sim thought he had a shooting lane. Instead, he'll pass it to Heinzel, whose shot gets blockered by McClendon. Bioni dumps it out to Keplinger. Gloved down by Federley. He'll turn it out the other direction towards Sim. McClendon hops on top, and he'll cover up for a whistle. With under 2 minutes to go in period number 1. And now somebody's going to the penalty box. Slashing is the call. And it's Tucker Scantleberry who's heading to the box. I'm not sure if I missed it or they have the wrong player. Alex Johnson conferring at the middle of the ice with referee Michael Levisier. But Scantleberry to the box for slashing, and under 2 minutes to go in this opening period, it will be another Carolina power play. Comes to the point to Pastuca. Down to Ford. It's the top unit who spent the entire 2 minutes on the ice on the last Carolina power play. That's the start again. Panacek walks. Continues to the other side of the ice, finds Pastuca. Now Baker gives it back. Down to the slot, Keplinger. Lost the handle, it's poked out. Prowlers get a quick change. As Ford lost that puck, McClendon has to stop it. Chopped on net by Picard, and McClendon is right there on the post, able to make the save. Baker takes that puck back for the Thunderbirds. And now Panacek gives it to Ford. He gets in, walks up high. He and Baker switch spots. And now it's Pastuca with a long-range shot, gloved and held by Wallace, as we're under a minute to go in period number 1. Thunderbirds switching up the power play unit. Nobody knows who wants to take the face-off, and Butita decides it will be him. One back to the point to Clay Keeley. Walking in is Farmer. He'll pull up. Feeds it across to Dumas. Clay Keeley through traffic. Knocked down by Wallace. Puck sits there. Dumas flying in for it. And now Jones finds it. He fires it down. Working up is Clay Keeley with 21. Butita gets around Jay. Looking for Schnapp. His stick was tied up. Johnson coming out with it. He'll dump it in. 10 seconds left in the period. As Keeley will stop behind his own net. He'll run out the final few seconds. But a disaster of a start for the Prowlers tonight. 3-0 Thunderbirds through 20 minutes of play. And they'll have 8 seconds of a power play when we return for period number 2. And if you're not happy about the way this game has gone or previous games against the Thunderbirds, you may not want to watch our first intermission feature, which is the season series so far against the Thunderbirds. Of course, as the Prowlers play all 10 teams in the FPHL, we'll be doing this for every final game of a series, as long as that's in a different weekend. And Thunderbirds are the second on the list as the Prowlers and Thunderbirds wrap up their season series tonight. We also have the FPHL storylines, and we'll have it for you here on the PHP Network. Shots on goal in that opening period favoring the Thunderbirds 20-11. And again, it is 3-0. Didn't get what you wanted for the holidays? No worries. The Port Huron Prowlers team store has all your favorites. The store features shirts, hats, decorations, and more, with new merch coming in all season long. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your po-ho best with gear from the Prowlers team store. 20 minutes down, Thunderbirds up 3-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Imagine a world without pepperoni. Ugh, okay, enough of that. Now, imagine layer upon layer of pepperoni. That's Hungry Howie's Pepperoni Duo Pizza. Our fresh-made dough and 100% real mozzarella cheese topped with traditional pepperoni and a layer of our classic cup pepperoni for layer upon layer of flavor on flavor. For a limited time, just $9.99. Don't just imagine yourself enjoying one. Come get one now.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. As they did 3 nights ago in Biloxi, the Prowlers finish up a season series here tonight in Winston-Salem. But unlike their games with the Seawolves this season, the Prowlers haven't had much luck against the Thunderbirds, as low-scoring games have been the theme. Let's take a look back at the season series so far. The season series opened with a 3-3 at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex during the first 3 days of December. Nate Keeley opened the scoring in the first game, and then just seconds into the middle period, Carolina doubled the advantage. Has help coming, gets into the zone, but Kennedy able to shut down that pass. Baker finds it, sends forward with a step, and he scores! That score held through 40 minutes, but less than a minute into the third, the Prowlers got on the board. Back to Jay on the right half wall. Sent it on net, saved by Cavalieri, and he sticks to the post to get the rebound from DeCumbus. Picard fires, scores! It went in and out quick, but Brandon Picard beats Cavalieri to the blocker's side. It's a power play goal, and the Prowlers are on the board. But they couldn't find the tying goal as Yuri Pastuka scored the dagger and Dawson Baker hit the empty net. The next night, it was the Prowlers who got on the board first in the second period, but Tucker Firth responded 42 seconds later. Pastuka gave Carolina the lead through 2 periods, and then the Prowlers pulled Tucker Tynan for the extra attacker and found the tying goal to send the game to overtime. There, though, the Thunderbirds pulled out the win. It's Baker revving the engines. Up towards Schnapp with a step, he scores! The weekend series concluded with a Sunday afternoon game, and this time it was the Prowlers who got the quick start late in the first thanks to a power play goal from Brandon Picard. Tristan Sim doubled the advantage in the second, but just over a minute later, Dawson Baker got the Thunderbirds on the board. A couple of minutes after that, the 2-goal lead was restored. Now Pastuka gave it away to Graham. Finds Picard with a bit of a step. Pastuka dives, and it goes in! Picard put it on net from the goal line. It hit Frankie McClendon, and you talk about a puck that barely crosses the goal line, but it does. Second of the night for Brandon Picard, makes it 3-1. But the tide turned after that, thanks to the Carolina man advantage. Baker scored again with a minute to go in the period, and then in the third, Schnapp found the tying goal. Another Thunderbirds power play helped them get their first lead. Check over to Pastuca. Steps in, fires, and they score. Pastuca took the shot. Not sure if that hit anything else on the way through. Baker capped the 4 unanswered goals for Carolina with the hat-trick goal, and the Birds win by far the highest scoring game in the season series to date. A couple of weeks later, the Thunderbirds took their only trip to McMorran Place of the season on the Prowlers' teddy bear toss night. Jan Salak scored a power play goal in the first, and then the second, the teddy bears hit the ice. Jay comes to Chartrand. Back to Jay, score! The teddy bears are hitting the ice here at McMorran. Dalton Jay ties it up. Later in that period, Carolina's man advantage struck again. Pastuca again touched it for Baker. Salak set up in front of the net. Pastuca took a spill away from the play. Now Ford driving the cage, and he scores. And once again, the Prowlers failed to find an equalizer as Schnapp hit the empty net for another close Carolina win. That brings us to last night, and that game was scoreless until late in the first. Freeborn back in, one hands it to Federley. Wrist shot, he scores! Bar down, Austin Federley opens the scoring with a quick shot, and the Prowlers have a 1-0 lead. Makar Sokolov and Frankie McClendon put on a show in the second, and both finished the game with 40-plus saves. Midway through the third, the Thunderbirds broke through as Josh Keplinger jammed home a loose puck. Then in overtime, he got the winner. He has the Thunderbirds goal tonight, and he works in, outside shot, and he scores. Josh Keplinger ends it in overtime, his second of the night. The Prowlers are 0-3-2 against the Thunderbirds this season, but certainly feel like they could have come out on the right side of some of those losses. They'll try and get the victory here tonight as the second period is coming up shortly here on the PHP Network.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Back here at the Annex, it is 3-0 Thunderbirds through 20 minutes of play. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Before we take a look back at that opening period, Let's take a look around the FPHL, and we start with our out-of-town scoreboard. It's 3 other games in the first period, one about to drop the puck. We start in Biloxi, where the Baton Rouge Zydeco and the Mississippi Seawolves are tied up at 1. Don Carter, Philip Wong have the goals in this one. It's 1-1 in Binghamton as the Rockers visit the Black Bears, both goals coming within the first 3 minutes of the game. They continue to play in the opening period. Josh Colton scoring for Motor City, and Nikita Ivashkin for Binghamton. Columbus has the only goal of the game in the first period against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. That's Justin McDonald who has the tally. And finally, in Watertown, the Wolves and the Hat Tricks will drop the puck in just about 5 minutes from now. 7:30 puck drop in Watertown. That is your out-of-town scoreboard. Keeping it around the FPHO, we look at some storylines around the league. We start with the Elmira River Sharks, who are not in action tonight, but they do have a player who has to serve a suspension. It's Jesse Swanson, who was suspended for 1 game after receiving an aggressor misconduct at the end or during the game last night. Apparently, it wasn't really caught on camera, but he jumped on, according to Department of Player Safety, he jumped on an unwilling player and hit him with 3 solid haymakers and attempted a 4th punch as the linesman intervened. So Jesse Swanson gets 1 game for being the aggressor. The Bobcats made multiple moves last night and throughout the day yesterday, releasing Eric Fabian Granquist, Kona Jackson, Colton McGuire, and Corey Allen, and then signing Ricard Jelenskis to a PTO, and then signing to standard contracts Marquis Grant Mentis, Owen Liskowitz, and Alex Basie. Liskowitz and Basie were acquired via trade fairly recently from Watertown, and then they took Hunter Hall off the IR and they placed Christian Pavlis on the 15-day IR. Lots of moves for the last place team in the Continental Division. And again, as we saw moments ago, they are trailing the Columbus River Dragons 1-0 in their building. Taking a look back at tonight's game here in Winston-Salem, the Thunderbirds with the 3-0 lead through 20 minutes of play. They'll have 8 seconds of power play time when we return for the second period. They're 1 for 2 on the power play, and all 3 of the Thunderbirds' goals came in the first 7.5 minutes of the game as things fell apart for the Prowlers early, but after that, things got a little bit rough, and then they were able to keep the Thunderbirds off the board, where the Prowlers, for the last 12.5 minutes of that period, so maybe a little bit of a positive sign for Port Huron. Maybe they were able to settle things down after that timeout, but still have a big hill to climb. You see all the penalty minutes up there for both sides. 23 for Carolina, 15 for Port Huron, and this comes after last night's game. There were only 12 total penalty minutes called between the two teams all of last night, and well, we greatly surpassed that so far as we get set for period number 2 here in Winston-Salem. Referees just about to step back out onto the ice, and then both teams will be able to do so. And as the referees take the ice, let's take a look at our PHP Network trivia question. Well, Makar Sokolov made 43 saves for the Prowlers in the overtime loss last night. That's the most saves in a loss for Port Huron since when? Well, when was the last time a Prowlers goaltender had more saves than Makar Sokolov did last night in a loss? Put your guess in the comment section and stay tuned because we'll have the answer for you in the start of the third period. Ian Wallace is getting set in the goal crease to our right. And after coming in relief of Sokolov following the third goal, 9 saves on 9 Thunderbird shots. In the rest of that opening period, Frankie McClendon in the goal crease to our left. And he stopped all 11 Prowler shots so far. Once again, if you're just rejoining us, 8 seconds of power play time for the Thunderbirds to begin this second period as Tucker Scantleberry takes his place back in the penalty box. Place he's been familiar with at times tonight. And Foley, Picard, Jones, and Johnson head out there to start it. We're underway. Thunderbirds don't even send out their power play unit with so little time left in the man advantage. And Scantleberry's back on the ice. 5-on-5 as Butita tried to cycle it down low. Jones plays it off the glass and out. And on the fresh sheet, that will slide all the way down, but icing waved off. As I guess they'll say Farmer had a chance at it, or maybe he even touched it here on the Prowler blue line. Farmer lost it to Picard, but Nate Keeley came and backed him up. Schnapp goes off the glass and out. Butita trying to step around Heinzel. He left the puck there in the corner. Nate Keeley and Federley come together. Now Picard over to Federley. Lead pass tipped by Graham, but it's knocked down by Clay Keeley. Federley gets it to Graham, touches it for Heinzel, and the lead pass on to Scantleberry. Scantleberry rims it around. After it is Grebenikov, took a hit from Graham. Freeborn took the puck. Deck kept it in fresh off the bench. Here's Johnson, tried to wrist it towards the middle of the ice, and that was cut off. It's like a little bit of juggling here with the defense pairs for the Prowlers, at least early on. Alex Johnson and Braden Deck out there together. Saw Mitch Jones and Austin Federley start the period together. We'll see if that continues. Now Jay in front. Freeborn stoned by McClendon right on the doorstep. That was Frankie McClendon's best save of the night so far. Sim gets it to Chartrand. Tried the return feed. Sim and Bioni go into the back wall together. Chartrand pulls it out, looking for Merritt. Pass just slipped under his stick. Jones from the outside. Gloved by McClendon. And he hangs on. And now McClendon throws a slash on Merritt. And Frankie McClendon is going to get a penalty. As McClendon whacked Merritt with that big goal stick as Merritt was sneaking back to his bench. Certainly took a deliberate route through the crease to do it. Just trying to cause a little bit of disruption, and McClendon will get the penalty. Looks like Dumas will serve it, and the Prowlers will get a power play. An opportunity to get on the board in this game. Port Huron is 0 for 2 so far on the man advantage. Unofficially, that's by me counting 0 for 2. Officially on the stats, it's 0 for 5. They tie it up off the face-off. That puck backhanded towards the point. And Farmer trying to get it out. He can't. Quickly down to Graham. Takes the shot, and McClendon with another one. Again, right on the doorstep, Frankie McClendon stoning a couple of Prowlers. Freeborn to Graham. Looking for Scantleberry in front. He just put it on net on the second attempt. And it's cleared down ice. 40 seconds gone in the penalty. Freeborn works in. Steps around Farmer. All the way around the net. They'll get it out high to Johnson. Over to Jones. Steps, finds Johnson again. Now Freeborn, Johnson. Jones, the one-timer, he scores! Mitch Jones with another rocket to the top corner. And he gets the Prowlers on the board. It's a power play goal. And Prowlers fans have gotten used to that in this past week or so since Jones has joined the team. As he picks up his 4th goal of the year, 3rd on the power play. And that one-timer, again, it's an NHL level shot. Certainly the best in the league. And no chance for McClendon on that one. Federley leaves it for Heinzel. And those aren't my words saying it's an NHL level shot. Those were what I was told by the coaching staff watching him in practice. As players ducked out of the way in practice when he would rip shots towards the net. Heinzel almost mishandled it. Baker between his own legs to Ford. Saved by Wallace, and it bounces in. I think it hit Austin Federley sliding through. And just like that, 40 seconds later, the Thunderbirds have regained the 3-goal lead. And that one just a bad bounce, as Wallace is able to make the first save. And yeah, I think it hit Federley, who was coming back, trying to defend. And he ended up knocking it in his own net. Tough to make a comeback when you get some bad luck like that. 4-1 Thunderbirds. And as Gus Ford is going to get his team high 21st of the year. Johnson gets it out to Jay, now Freeborn. That's in. Gives to Jay with a quick shot, stopped by McClendon. Graham gives it out to Freeborn. He'll cycle it deep around to Graham, try to put it out in front, and Panacek looking to move the other direction. He gets it to Dumas. With 3-on-3 as they hit the line in the middle. Panacek softly on net. Wallace cleared it out, and now the Prowlers the other direction. Johnson joining the rush as Freeborn has it. Sent it there, and Johnson couldn't get it on net, but he has the puck again. Turnaround try blocked by Clay Keeley. He'll find Panacek with Dumas racing to join him. Panacek with a shot in and out of the glove of Wallace and cleared out to center. Merritt hustling after it. Grebenikov will chop it back towards Prowler territory. Puck bouncing, lands on the stick of Schnapp. Now Nick Keeley in, and the blocker save by Wallace. Butita behind the net. Gets it out high to Keeley. That's Clay Keeley to twin brother Nate. Now Schnapp with a shot. Kick save by Wallace. He's kicked out that right flipper. Nate Keeley curling away from Federley. Tried the wraparound. Wallace got the paddle down. And now Freeborn had the puck escape him. Stays in the zone. Jones gloves it down over to Federley. He'd pass on for Freeborn. Now backhanded off the glass. Thunderbirds turn it up. Schnapp has Ford with him. Tried to feed it over there. Pass was a little behind him. Prowlers almost got caught in the change there, I think. Now Ford to the middle. Yes, Butita scores. There were 2 Thunderbirds all by themselves right in the middle of the ice. And John Butita just ripped a one-timer. And this one is out of hand, 5-1. So after the Prowlers get on the board, Carolina responds with a couple of quick ones. And again, the Prowlers just looking beat here tonight. In a building that's been a house of horrors for them for a long time, not just this season. And not just in the regular season either. As Foley works it out high to Heinzel. Sends it back deep, Chartrand. Let it go through him. Farmer sends it out. Deck tries to send it out. Here's Scantleberry hustling after it, makes a move, but he's in too deep. Going for the wraparound, it went right through the crease. Comes out to Keplinger, he'll get the red line and dump it around. Wallace couldn't stop it there, but Johnson skates into it. Johnson into offensive territory. They'll send it deep to Chartrand. Behind the net, Graham. Out to Scantleberry. Couldn't get the shot off. Panachek, off the boards. Now Graham backhands it in. 9 minutes gone, or 7 minutes gone in this Hungry Howie's second period. Dumas across to Panachek. One more pass, and Wallace sliding across, able to make the save, and now Wallace is in some distress. And some concern now for the Prowlers goaltender. As the Carolina training staff coming out to tend to Ian Wallace as he slid all the way across. Not sure what happened. Don't want to speculate, of course. Take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumbcoats professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Defensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers. Wallace will stay in. So good news, at least there. And Ian Wallace feels okay enough to stay in the crease. Again, not sure exactly what happened, and we're not going to speculate. As Nate Keeley dumps it around. Wallace out from behind the net. And Deck plays it back this side. Freeborn sent it across to the far side, got past Jay. And dump right back around. Federley over to Deck. On for Merritt. Chipped around Farmer. Freeborn flying in after it. To a side scrum, kicked out to Nate Keeley. Gets it up to Schnapp. Trying to dangle his way in. Tried to turn it out in front. Ends up falling on the stick of Ford. Schnapp. Cycles it to Ford. Played it off of Scantleberry's stick. Thunderbirds offside, so they'll have to touch up and they'll complete a change. 11 and a half minutes to go in this second period as Scantleberry chips his way by, gets in with an outside shot handled by McClendon. And And Frankie McClendon hasn't had too much to do tonight. Thunderbirds up on shots 27-16 right now. McClendon has been solid so far with what he has seen. Now Scantlebury tied up with Clay Keeley off the face-off. Surely fans of both sides who saw that would want a penalty against the other. They'll play on as Bioni wrists it in. Johnson up to Picard, gives it back. Now Scantlebury has to come back for that puck. He'll rim it around. Picard shoved into the wall by Bioni a couple of times. Scantlebury comes flying in. Now Clay Keeley, as Scantlebury was knocked down by Baker away from the puck. Baker and Scantlebury still battling behind the play. Meanwhile, it's Federley who has the puck, and they're just going to take Scantlebury. No, they'll take both. As Baker and Scantlebury will head to the box. With 10:26 left to go in the second period. No more games left between these two teams, so they have to get it all out now. And after Tucker Scantlebury served his suspension last night, ignoring the fans here tonight. Face-off will come deep in Prowler territory. We'll play 4-on-4. With Freeborn and Panachek getting set for this face-off. And Freeborn wins it back clean. And Johnson up to Sim. Had it poked off his stick. Pastuka trying to wrestle for that puck. Quick shot by Panachek. Just went wide. Not sure if Wallace got a piece. Comes across to Johnson. Now Sim sending Freeborn in. Roughing aside. Two aside for roughing for both Scantlebury and Baker. As Freeborn feeds it out high to Federley. And now back deep around to Grebenikov. Farmer up to Pastuka. Four Prowlers surrounding him, and his shot rides up off a stick and flies out of play. We'll take a timeout, 9:43 to go in period 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Back here at the Annex, still 5-1 Thunderbirds with 9:43 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. So the Prowlers finish up a long road stretch, 7 games in 9 days. They'll get to return home next weekend. As Keplinger off the face-off, looking for the backdoor play to Ford. He couldn't touch it home. Ford wants a penalty as he chats with the ref while back-checking. And now Ford up the other way. But he had it taken from him. Merritt knocked to the ice, but he's able to work it to Jay. Ford still pleading his case with referees. while the Prowlers have the puck. Comes across. Jones couldn't get a good touch on it, but Johnson is behind the net, chopped in, and McClendon makes the save on Matt Graham. Still playing 4-on-4 for the next 35 seconds as Ford sent it towards the cage. And Jones up to Jay. He backhands it in. Prowlers in the midst of a change. And Keplinger rims it around to Farmer. Gives it back. And they continue to play catch behind the Thunderbirds net. Finally sent out in Ford's direction. He couldn't handle that pass. Chartrand in as Foley going to net. Gets it there, and Foley got a touch on it. But no chance for that puck as Frankie McClendon was right there to make the save. And McClendon continues his strong play. And now Gus Ford is being sent to the penalty box. I guess he said just a little too much to the referees as he was talking to the refs that entire shift as the play was going on. And Ford slamming his stick on the glass right in front of the referees. As he's sent to the box. We'll see if this affects on-ice manpower or not. It doesn't look like it will. I guess Ford just picking up the 10 for unsportsmanlike conduct. We'll be back to 5. We're back to 5-on-5 as Scantleberry and Baker stepped out of the penalty boxes. Fans not agreeing with the call as Farmer with a drive blocked by Jones from the outside. Wallace gets the paddle down to stop it. I guess there's only so much you can say to the officials. And Scantleberry had his pocket picked. It's turned out the other way. Now Baker working in on Jones. Jones won't let him by. Scantleberry battling for that puck. The arm comes up in the air. And Tucker Scantleberry is going to go back to the penalty box as he was trying to lift Farmer's stick. And Farmer's stick came out of his hands. And Scantleberry's back to the box. And the fans here in Winston-Salem are turning from angry to happy with the referees as now they are cheering this penalty to Tucker Scantleberry. So another Thunderbirds power play coming up with 7:44 to go in the second period. We'll play 5-on-4s. Now both teams are set for this face-off. Deep in Prowler territory, there's just a little bit more conversation with the referees in front of the Prowlers bench, which was the delay. Panacek gets it down and gets it back. Baker at the top, over to Pastuca. Below the goal line, it's Keplinger. Dumas in the slot. Pastuca out high to Baker, wrist shot, wide. Hard carom off the back wall, and that one slips just out of the zone. Baker will have to play it to center. So Keplinger in Ford's usual spot behind the net, with Dumas taking Keplinger's spot in the slot on this power play, with Ford serving the 10-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Again, that one doesn't affect on-ice manpower, as Panacek walks in, feeds it to Pastuca, blocked by Chartrand. Panacek works out high, looking for Pastuca, gets the touch pass back, and now finds Baker again. Baker to Pastuca, one touched across. Heinzel able to tip that pass away. 48 seconds left on the power play. Pastuca towards Baker, and Foley got his stick in the lane. Shot towards the net, knocked away. Keplinger behind the cage. He gets sent to the ice, and then he gets a piece of Adam Heinzel from the the ice. I think both referees got that one. And Josh Keplinger is going to head to the penalty box. So that will even things up for the next 29 seconds, and the Prowlers will have a power play. Hooking is the signal against Josh Keplinger, who, after he was knocked to the ice, he just did all he could to keep Adam Heinzel from getting to the puck, but he did it illegally. And the Thunderbirds fans go back to angry at the officials. Now the faceoff will come deep in Carolina territory. It's Clay Keeley hands it off. Taken away by the Prowlers momentarily, but Keeley has it back. Here comes Keeley flying in. On the outside, stopped by Wallace. Schnapp in front. He hit the post as the net was off its moorings, and the Thunderbird fans are screaming about it. A few ticks under 6 minutes left to go in this period. We'll see if anything comes of it. Fans are not happy here at the Annex, despite their team up 4 goals. In 8 seconds, Scantlebury will step out of the box and make it a Prowlers power play. As they get the net back on over behind Wallace. They continue to drill into the ice, and I've mentioned it before on these broadcasts, but I'll say it again. The reason it doesn't happen at McMorran Place, as it's been explained to me, is that the pegs are actually in the concrete below the ice. The hole goes all the way down through the ice into the concrete below, and that helps them stay secure better than the pegs at most other arenas that are just in the ice, which I learned from talking to the McMorran staff, because I was curious why the net seems to come off so much in other buildings, but not here, or not there, back home at McMorran. And that was the answer they gave me. And off the faceoff, Jones off the boards, lead pass on for Merritt. He'll play it back to Johnson flying up. Scantlebury on the ice. The Prowlers power plays. Johnson's knocked down. Whistles blow. Crowd gathers. Not too much extra coming from this one. Not sure why they blew that play dead. Maybe the puck popped out of play. Either way, Prowlers will set up the 5-on-4 man advantage here. And now Wallace's goal stick was broken, so he has to get a new one from the bench. And Dan Chartrand will skate it out to him. And just in case the Thunderbirds fans needed another reason to yell at the Prowlers netminder. As Graham and Nate Keeley get set for this face-off. And it comes back to Johnson, to Jones, right back. Freeborn looking for Graham. He'll get it there on the second opportunity. Freeborn has it again. Johnson switches spots with Jones. Minute 9 left on the power play. Johnson into the slot. That was knocked away and cleared. Quick up from Wallace. He finds Scantlebury at the Thunderbirds' blue line. Sent in towards McClendon, knocked out with his glove. Jones over to Johnson. Gets it back. Wrist shot through, deflected, and stopped by McClendon. It just hit him. That just hit Frankie McClendon's pads. I don't think he saw that shot at all. And on top of that, change direction. Here's Jones, wristing it across to Freeborn. He'll try and settle the bouncing puck 25 seconds left on the power play. Jones, one-timer, scores again. 2 from the exact same spot for Mitch Jones. Prowlers have another power play goal when they make it 5-2. And Jones has his second goal of the game. 5th of the season, 4:34 left to go in the second. And we'll play 5-on-5 now. Gus Ford still the only one in the penalty boxes. He'll be in there through the rest of this period and for the beginning of the third. That one touched along toward Dumas, but ends up coming to Merritt. He'll dump it in. Leaping for it was Federley. Got past him. Heinzel hustling after it. Now Federley with the puck. Behind the net. He'll work out to his right and find Sim. Quick up looking for Picard. Icing waved off, or should have been, I thought, as the Prowlers won the race. But instead, we'll get a whistle and a face-off, and we'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Imagine a world without pepperoni. Whew, okay, enough of that. Now, imagine layer upon layer of pepperoni. That's Hungry Howie's Pepperoni Duo Pizza. Our fresh-made dough and 100% real mozzarella cheese topped with traditional pepperoni and a layer of our classic cup pepperoni for layer upon layer of flavor on flavor. For a limited time, just $9.99. Don't just imagine yourself enjoying one. Come get one now.
Hungry?
Howie's! 4:01 left to go, second period. Prowlers trail by 3. Mitch Jones with the last one just moments ago for Port Huron. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Coming up in the second intermission, don't go away because we'll chat with Prowlers and Thunderbirds owner Barry Soskin. As Wallace will hang on to that long-range wrist shot. You get an opportunity to see what the owner is up to and how his teams are doing around the league. Of course, the owner of 5 of the 6 Continental Division teams, all but Columbus. They tie it up there. Jones gets it back to Johnson. And a quick up to Freeborn. He gets the red line, dumps it in, Jay after it. Bioni takes him into the wall. Graham going in on Crow. And Baker pulls it out of the pile. Crow crumpling down to the ice. There's a penalty coming up. Here's Panacek. Turning, feeding it across, and as Graham touches up, he'll get the penalty call. And Matt Graham is chatty as he heads to the box. And now Graham will head off the ice. So we'll see exactly what they gave the Prowlers head coach Matt Graham. Either way, it's going to be a Thunderbirds power play. With 3:23 left to go in the period. I didn't see it exactly. Maybe a subtle little slash or something along those lines there. I think the Prowlers need to put somebody in the box, and Liam Freeborn will head over to do the honors. And we'll let you know as soon as it comes down. Keplinger and Foley will take this face-off. And Graham has been given a 5-minute major, which likely means the game misconduct coming with it as well. Spearing is the official call from the referees. And Schnapp sends it up to Keplinger. He'll rim it around. The Thunderbirds can score as often as they want, and this power play will carry over into the third period. And Pastuca gives it across to Panacek. Pastuca, one-timer, he scores! And there's another one for Carolina, 6-2. And they're still on the power play as Yuri Pastuca gets the blast to go home. He has his first goal of the night and 7th of the year. As Thunderbirds fans celebrate again here. We'll see what will come of this game in the third. We still have 20 minutes left after this 2:45 ticks down. As Federley sends that one the length of the ice. Keplinger, quick up to Clay Keeley. He finds twin brother Nate, dangling through center into the offensive zone. Butita with a shot blockered by Wallace. It's gloved down. Jones searching for it. He'll dump it the length of the ice. Merritt hustling after it. McClendon plays it this side. Grebennikov drops it off for Clay Keeley, up to Dumas. Turning on Scantleberry, and puck comes back out to center. They'll try the far side now. Grebennikov looking for Keeley. That's Nate Keeley going towards the net. Some rough stuff going on behind the cage as they dig away for that puck. Heinzel took Nate Keeley down. Now they'll get into it and they'll drop the gloves. Heinzel couldn't get his gloves off and they both flop to the ice. Not much of a fight there as both players just kind of flopped to the ice. Heinzel was trying to get his gloves off. Heinzel wants some more, but the linesman won't let him. And Heinzel going to the penalty box. So we'll see what comes of this now. And the Thunderbirds fans giving it to Adam Heinzel and Liam Freeborn in the box. Freeborn just laughing them off while Evan Foley chats with the referees in the circle. And now the penalty box attendants are talking to the referees. And they're going to show Adam Heinzel the door. Heinzel will collect his things and head off the ice. Second Prowler to be ejected from this game in the last couple minutes. Frankie McClendon over there just making sure Heinzel gets off the ice safely, I'm sure. This one's certainly gotten out of hand in more ways than one. And it's getting ugly with still 20 more minutes to play. And now the conversations all over the ice between referees, players, penalty box attendants. Dawson Baker has now stepped into the Thunderbirds penalty box for some reason. And this one has gotten way out of hand. Two minutes are up on the Thunderbirds side for Nate Keeley. He may have also been shown the door. Maybe he's headed off because he gets the 5 for fighting, which is more than the amount of time left in this period, so he'll come back possibly for the third. We'll find out. But stick around for the second intermission report. We'll chat with Barry Soskin, the owner of both of these teams. We'll also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule with some home games on it. We'll have it for you here on the PHP Network. That will at least negate 2 minutes of the remaining 3:19 of the Thunderbirds power play. So we'll play 4-on-4. Farmer trying to turn away from Sim. Sim up the steal. Farmer in the corner. Sim digging away. Bioni trying to pull it out. As Keeley got 2 minutes for holding and 5 for fighting, so that explains the extra 2 up on the board for Keeley. As Farmer steps over the blue line. Out to Pastuca. Couldn't get the shot off. Makes a couple of moves. Keeps going. But he ended up dangling the puck right into Ian Wallace. It will cover up for a whistle and a face-off. With 56 seconds left to go in this middle period. And this has felt like a really long game, and we still have 20 more minutes to go after this. Keplinger in front. Wallace slid backwards. The net came off. And let's hear it again from the Thunderbirds fans. .8 up on the clock as this period just will not end. Now, Keeley and Heinzel each get 5 for fighting. Keeley the extra 2 for holding. Heinzel a 10-minute unsportsmanlike misconduct, and that's a game misconduct. And Frankie McClendon is on the other end, moving around his net to cheers from the Thunderbirds faithful. They chant his name. Keeley, one-timer gloved by Wallace. He doesn't have it. He lays back for it. Keplinger tried to wrap it around. A couple of Prowlers kept that from happening. And the net off again. Frankie McClendon shaking that net to our left. To cheers from the Thunderbirds faithful. Have I mentioned this has gotten out of hand yet? .4 still to go in the longest second period in history. Or at least it just feels like that. It's 6-2 Carolina. Prowlers have had 2 players ejected. Thunderbirds have had 1. In case you forgot, Justin Movalli was thrown out of the game all the way back in the first period. It's felt like an eternity ago. As Federle collects it at center, he'll get into offensive territory. His wrist shot flies past the net. Picard down the boards. Clay Keeley taken hard into the wall. Puck still in the corner. Nobody knew about it except for Grebenikov. Final 5 seconds ticking off of this second period. That's going to do it for 40 minutes of play. Here in Winston-Salem, it's the Thunderbirds up by 4 goals. They have a 6-2 lead. Coming up in the second intermission, we'll have a chat with Barry Soskin, the owner of the Prowlers, Thunderbirds, and 3 other teams in the FPHL, and maybe future owner of some more franchises. Also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule, the out-of-town scoreboard, and much more. It's all coming up here on the PHP Network. Secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. They host the Watertown Wolves on Friday, January 12th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. It's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person at the Old Bar McMorran Place, the way it's meant to be enjoyed. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll chat with Barry Soskin, and we'll have him for you next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Imagine a world without pepperoni. Ugh, okay, enough of that. Now, imagine layer upon layer of pepperoni. That's Hungry Howie's Pepperoni Duo Pizza. Our fresh-made dough and 100% real mozzarella cheese topped with traditional pepperoni and a layer of our classic cup pepperoni for layer upon layer of flavor on flavor. For a limited time, just $9.99. Don't just imagine yourself enjoying one. Come get one now.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to Winston-Salem. Prowlers trailing the Thunderbirds by a score of 6-2, and I have the Prowlers and Thunderbirds owner Barry Soskin here. He, of course, owns 3 more teams other than the 2 on the ice tonight, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, certainly will.
Well, you also have more prospects coming into the league, hopefully. First off, what's the word with Danville?
Danville is an ongoing situation. We're negotiating. There was a feedback last Tuesday. I forgot where I'm at. So last Tuesday there was some feedback, and we hope to hear from them this upcoming week to see if we can take it to the next step.
Another one you guys were talking about a little bit was potentially Texas. Is that still on the table potentially?
It's still on the table, but there's been some sad developments. The gentleman that we've had working with us and with a few of the buildings that I'm in, John Burley from Everything Ice, was involved in a plane crash on December 30th, and he passed away.
Oh.
So that's leaving a big void, as we all wish his family and friends prayers. We're looking from a business standpoint on moving forward and what we need to do. It's going to take an ice company like Everything Ice to see what the problems are with the Ford Arena in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, we're all certainly sad to hear about that. But as far as the teams that you already have, you see 2 of them competing here tonight. They all compete together in the same position. Is that a little difficult to root for teams, that you own when they're all playing each other?
Always the home team, buddy.
Right?
Always looking for the home team. But, listen, every game is different. The games yesterday, same teams, what a difference in the on-ice. In fact, yesterday I thought the Thunderbirds, although the home team, I thought they squeaked out a win because I honestly thought Port Huron probably played at least 2 periods more solid than they did. It's the luck of the bounce. You get a hot goalie or a tough break, and that's what happens. Tonight's game, the Thunderbirds started out strong. I don't know if a little catching up. You guys played this week a couple of games during the week in Mississippi. Got a couple of nice wins. I get that, but look what it's doing. I think it took a little bit out of you when Winston didn't have games this week. So, maybe that's wearing on you guys a little bit, but it's turning to be a totally different game entirely. And I really can see how I don't want to say a bad call, but an interesting call. I said that nice.
That's the politically correct. That's the politically correct way to say it, right?
but you can really see how a simple turn of events can really change the whole complexion of the game, and it goes into what we didn't have yesterday. This has been more of a brouhaha than it has been a hockey game, and I question some of what's going on. I understand trying to keep control, but I question more than one call from both sides. There's been things that I don't agree with, but I'm not the one on the ice. I'm not the one seeing everything. I will tell you that being up here as long as I have been, the place is full. Great job for the staff here. Once again, the annex here on the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds is full, and that's great. It's a testament but I can't see the game. So I come up here to watch it with you, and not only are these seats great, but I'm actually focusing on the game itself, and I see what everybody else is seeing. So it's coming along strong across our, the PH Prowlers, YouTube network. We all see the same thing, and we'll get better on the ice and off the ice from our players, our coaches, and certainly our on-ice officials. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Some hard-hitting analysis. You could be a color commentator.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not without fines.
Not without fines. Well, we were just talked a little bit about the referees. Certainly the Department of Player Safety will have a look at some points in this game. They've hired some new people, got some new faces in the office. How do you feel that's changed things in the league this year?
I think they've changed for the better. Dave Jackson coming along, I think, has given us, whenever you have NHL on your business card, it certainly elevates us. And he's a former referee. He gets what we're trying to do. And in some respects, I wish he was tougher. And I know some of my own teams don't want to hear that. But in some ways, I wish he was tougher. Yet in other ways, I think that he's not catching what's trying to come out of the league office, or certainly what I'm trying to, I love the hard hitting. I want the fights. I just don't want stupid. And we've had far too much stupid. Stupid has to be stopped. And 1 game, 2 games, not going to do it. The commissioner just put out something that I've been fighting for years. You'd think that I'd have more votes. I might need more teams just to pass something. But, and if you're gone if a player's kicked out for more than 2 games, the coach sits half as well. So not only are you down a roster spot, which hasn't happened in 4 or 5 years in this league, and now the coach can also get kicked out. So now the coach is maybe a little bit more, not respectful, but more conscious of who's out there and during what times of the game. You don't send a bunch of fighters out at the end of the game that you're losing. I mean, we got to stop that stupid and play the game, and play the game tough. Game's a physical game. We don't need to do anything to it. It's physical right the way it is. So, I want the refs to be able to swing that type of game. Yesterday they did it. Today it seems like it's getting a little bit out of our hands, or out of their hands. Yeah,
I mean, yesterday only 12 penalty minutes total between the two teams. They really did let them play. It was a nice, clean game, and one of the better games of the season, certainly, as far as an entertainment value. But just as the league as a whole, as it stands right now, what would you say about the stability of where the league stands at this moment?
Wow, I think it's better than it ever has. We've got strong teams that are showing profitability. We've got a pretty solid footprint and looking to grow that footprint. I love the talent. Look on the ice, it's better and better from last year to this year. You were here last year. I mean, you can see that. I think that the talent is better. So everything that we're trying to do as a league, I believe, is working. I thought that adding a couple more teams would hurt us. Wow, the talent on the ice is just phenomenal. I'm I'm a fan, but watching this game, watching maybe not this game, but yesterday and our games during the year have been really great. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get some more good games coming up.
A couple more goals this game wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Pull us back in it.
And I'm certainly rooting for Danville. I like the shorter bus rides, from Port Huron, but
Frazier's not short enough?
Oh, Frazier's nice. That's basically a home game for us. We love that. But so thank you so much for joining us, and
my pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of this one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Back here at the Annex, it is the second intermission that's just wrapping up, and we just heard from Prowlers owner Barry Suskin a few moments ago. We appreciate him for jumping on the program and sharing his thoughts about where the league's headed and how his teams are doing, how his prospective teams are doing, and all of that fun stuff. A lot of great stuff from the Prowlers owner Barry Suskin. But through 40 minutes of play, the Prowlers trailing by 4, and it's been a game that's gotten out of hand, as we talked about. But before we talk more about that game, let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard. Right now, in Biloxi, the Zydeco and Seawolves tied up at 2. Don Carter has a couple of goals for Baton Rouge. We move on to Binghamton, where the Black Bears have opened up a 6-1 lead on the Motor City Rockers. And another game that's not even close there. Another game that's also not close is in Columbus, where the Dragons have a 4-0 lead on the Blue Ridge Bobcats. They're midway through the second period. Now make it 5 as Justin McDonald has just scored to extend the lead for the River Dragons. Finally, in the first intermission in Watertown, the Hat-Tricks have a 2-1 lead over the Wolves. Watertown, of course, the Prowlers' next opponent. And of course, here again, it's still 6-2. And you see them there on the upcoming schedule, a 3-3 scheduled for next weekend for the Prowlers. 7:05, 6:05, and 3:05 are the puck drops, and then a much anticipated series with the Motor City Rockers. If you remember how the last series ended on New Year's Eve, with all the battling, all the fights, and Trevor Babin will be available for that game as long as he doesn't get suspended next weekend. But he should be back for the Rockers, so that should be an absolutely exciting series. And that January 20th game at 8 o'clock, that is the Prowlers' Silver Stick game. So they will be celebrating, of course, Mitz's birthday, but also the Silver Stick teams. And if you know of a Silver Stick team looking for something to do that weekend, be sure to send them our way and get them to come out to the Prowlers game. Let me take a look quickly at the stats, and I didn't get a chance to count up the power plays, so this is just how it looks on the league website. 6-2 Thunderbirds, they're out shooting the Prowlers 34-24. Prowlers officially 2 for 10 on the power play, Thunderbirds 2 for 8, and those penalty minutes racking up on both sides so far in this one. Before we drop the puck on a third period. Let's take another look at the PHP Network trivia question. As Makar Sokolov made 43 saves for the Prowlers in the overtime loss last night, and we wanted to know that's the most saves in a loss for Port Huron since when? Who was the last goaltender to have more saves in a loss? And the answer is Tucker Tynan, and he did it here on December the 2nd. So, another piece of evidence in the point that the Annex has been a house of horrors for the Prowlers. That was a 45 save effort for Tynan in another overtime loss here for the Prowlers in Winston-Salem. And surely they'll be happy to not have to play here for the rest of the regular season. But if history proves to be an indication of the future, the Prowlers will likely end up back here in the playoffs. We start the period 4-on-4. Makar Sokolov is back in net. I don't see Ian Wallace on the bench at all. So just another tidbit for you, as Wallace, who went down at one point in that second period, and a broken stick there for Keplinger. Wallace went down and had to be checked on by the medical staff. There's Scantleberry with a little toe drag. Knocked off his stick by Panacek. He gets replaced here for the start of the third, as the Thunderbirds are now on the power play for the next 2:52. Comes back to Keplinger, and he scores. And the first shot of the period was Josh Keplinger walking right down Main Street. He beats Sokolov and makes it 7-2. Thunderbirds still on the power play. And Port Huron now giving up 7 goals for the third time this season. The last 2 times were against the Motor City Rockers, and all 3 times they've come on the road. So the PK continues as Federley launches it down towards McClendon. As Pastuca plays it around. Chartrand lifting his stick, but now it comes to Panacek. Then still 2.5 minutes to go on this power play for Carolina. As Panacek plays it around. He's behind the net, looking to feed it out in front. He finds Baker over to Pastuca at the top, down to Panacek, tried to touch it back for Baker. That was knocked away by Foley, but kept in by Pastuca. Deck trying to work it out, comes to Baker, drops it for Keplinger, back to Baker, he shoots and missed everything. Puck comes all the way back to Carolina ice, and Pastuca plays it up for Baker. Now Deck hustling after it, but the Thunderbirds have iced the puck with 1:36 left on their power play. And Gus Ford finally gets to step out of the penalty box. He has 2 goals and an assist tonight. Panacek, Baker also with 3-point games. Ford and Butita, the only ones with 2 goals for Carolina. Mitch Jones has both for the Prowlers, and those 3 are the ones on hat trick watch. Schnapp and Panacek picking up the assists on Keplinger's goal. And they'll drop the puck again. 2 seconds ran off the clock there on the false drop, but not sure either team cares too much about that right now. Baker dropped it off behind the net. And now it's sped up the near side to Clay Keeley. Lead pass on. It's Dumas. Works in all the way around. Now out high to Clay Keeley. Back to Dumas. Butita in the corner. Gives it back. Keeley, one-timer blocked by Scantleberry. Dumas across. Bioni gets it down. And now working up high and dropping it off was Farmer. Here's Keeley. All the way around the net. Dumas was collapsed on by a couple of Prowlers. Port Huron looking for a shorthanded break. It's Freeborn. Back to the trailer. Johnson had to rehandle the puck. His shot stopped and the rebound put in by Tucker Scantleberry. And the Prowlers get one back. It's a shorthanded goal. That makes it 7-3. And the least popular person in Winston-Salem gets the goal, his 6th of the season. 17:15 left to go in period number 3. Thunderbirds still on the power play for another 32 seconds. Caleb Williams is serving it as Baker rims it around. Comes up high to Ford. Pastuca touches it across to Panacek. Ford again. Pastuca walks in. His shot eaten up by the stick of Dalton Jay. And Pastuca's stick may have rode up into Jay's face. And Jay's off to the bench. He gets a towel there. And of course, that was accidental coming on the follow through from Pastuca. And yeah, or it may have been the puck. I'm not sure. Dalton Jay being tended to on a short Prowlers bench. And Adam Heinzel, Matt Graham, both being sent out of this game. Merritt wins the face-off. Federley wraps it around. Sim gets it out. Williams set to step out of the box. And we're back to 5-on-5. Thunderbirds got a couple on that man advantage as Sokolov kicks out that shot. And that puck deflects right into the face of Grebennikov. And it may have come out of the zone as it hit him in the face. So he couldn't even keep the line. And he'll laugh that one off. As the face-off will come outside. Ford set to draw against Brandon Picard. Keplinger gets it back to the point to Keeley. Liam Freeborn and Alex Johnson picking up the assists on Scantleberry's goal. Those two already with assists tonight. It's gloved down by Deck, but he touched it inside Thunderbirds territory. And offside the call. So 3 helpers apiece for both Freeborn and Johnson, as they've both assisted on the pair of goals by Mitch Jones and now the one from Tucker Scantleberry. 16:10 left to go in period number 3. So at least if you have those two on your fantasy team, that'll help you out a little bit. Not doing too much for the Prowlers, though, tonight, as Thunderbirds look like they iced the puck, but they waved it off. Quick up to Foley. They'll dump it in off the back wall and head after it. He's stapled by Crow. Remember those two battling in the first. Now Thunderbirds, a 3-on-1 if they hurry. But the Prowlers hustle back. Schnapp with a shot, and he missed everything. It rims all the way around to Bioni, who dumps it right back in. Johnson with both teams making changes. Looking for Williams. He'll try and find the puck again, gets it on to Picard. Merritt chipping it around. He flies around the zone, finds Federley at the point. Wrist shot through, blockered by McClendon. And now a hard hit there from Merritt on Grebennikov. Prowlers keep the puck alive as Williams gets it deep. Grebennikov didn't put Merritt back into the boards. So he took the puck and got it out. Here's Ford trying to dangle around deck, picks it up on the other side, makes a move. And then the Prowlers come back in numbers to knock it off the Thunderbirds' leading scorer's stick. Freeborn around the cage. He turns. Lost the handle to Farmer, picking up Farmer's stick. And Farmer forced back. Lead pass on, looking for Ford, who was hanging at the Prowlers' blue line. And he couldn't reach that one to handle it cleanly, and he'll head off for a change. Freeborn up to Scantleberry on the right wing side. Tried to feed it out high, but it got through everyone and ends up back on Sokolov's tape. Jones. Lead pass looking for Foley. Scantleberry able to send it deep. Baker just chips it off the wall and out. Johnson gives it to Deck. Scantleberry up to Foley. Pulls up, dumps it around. Jay and Schnapp after. Schnapp gets there first, but Federley keeps it in momentarily. Lead pass from Crow looking for Baker. That deflects in. Baker and Federley hustling after it together. Federley chips it around him, and the Prowlers look to get the puck out. Here's Jay. Into the offensive zone. Taken away. And now Deck sends Grebenikov to the ice. Merritt up to Chartrand. Off the boards. And Ford sent it right back the other direction. Now Jay has a man flying. It's Merritt. He hit Ford with the puck. And Chartrand gets it deep. And Chartrand wrestling with a Thunderbird on the ice. Puck came out in front. Prowlers couldn't put it home. And now Ford leading a rush the other way. Pulls up on Johnson, gets the middle, and Sokolov has that save, and he'll hang on for a whistle. We'll take a break. 12:31 left to go in period 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Back here at the Annex, 12:31 left to go in period 3. Prowlers trailing by 4. Merritt and Panachek set for this face-off. And off the draw, it's Jones giving it over to Johnson. Up to Freeborn. Looking for Merritt, but Farmer knocked it away. Jones with it again, quickly to Johnson. He'll work in, drop it for Scantleberry. Dangling his way in front. Puck was in the crease, still loose there. They dig away, and McClendon finds it and clamps the glove on top. So the chance of Frankie coming from the Winston-Salem faithful after another save by the Thunderbirds netminder. Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off. Tristan Sim in to take it against Ford. And off the draw, It's sent around. Ford has it back. Quick up to Clay Keeley. They'll keep it moving for Keplinger. That was taken away. Williams pass in between the skates of Picard, so Baker comes out, he dumps it in. Federley up the wall is knocked down. Prowlers do get it out though, and Sim touches it on for Williams. Caleb Williams with that backhander that dribbles wide. And Deck steps up on his man Keplinger. And the fans were, a couple of the fans at least, were looking for a penalty on a clean hit from Braden Deck. Foley tried to touch it along. It comes back to him. And that one goes deep in Thunderbird territory. Icing waved off. Baker chopped it up the wall. Nate Keeley and Foley come in together. Jay picks up the loose puck. Sent it out. In front comes a Johnson. He didn't think it was going to get all the way to him. So he didn't get everything he wanted on that shot. Now Jay did. And McClendon knocked it down with the glove. McClendon doesn't have his goal stick. That wrist shot stopped by McClendon. The rebound popped over top of the net. Johnson able to keep it in. But Jay's pass to the slot, taken away by Clay Keeley. Puck ends up behind the net. Foley out high to Jones. The best shift of the game for the Prowlers. And it results in a blocked shot. And Carolina skates out. And Grebenikov dumps it in. Approaching the midway point of the third period. Quick shot from the outside. Missed everything. Farmer plays it back at center. Now Johnson turning it the other way. They'll play it off the board. Scantleberry and Farmer after it. Scantleberry muscled off Farmer for a moment. And now Farmer will get a penalty. Tripping is the call against Farmer. And looks like somebody else is going to go as well. And they're sending Braden Crow to the box too. And now they'll send Crow to the locker room early. We'll take a timeout and have a Prowlers power play when we come back on the PHP Network. Back here at the Annex, 9:46 to go. In period 3, it's the Prowlers power play. They trail by 4. And Freeborn sends it down to Foley in the corner. Back to Freeborn. He'll shoot. Shouldered away by McClendon. Good opportunity there. Frankie McClendon with the save. James Farmer, 2 minutes for tripping, and then Braden Crow gets the 10-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And he's sent to the showers early. Johnson pulls up, gets it out high to Freeborn. He switches spots with Jones. Freeborn still walking with the puck. Still has it, lost the handle. He eventually gets it to Foley. Scantleberry set up in front of the net. Foley sent it there, and Scantleberry couldn't get a good touch on it. Johnson behind the cage to Foley. In front, Freeborn scores! Liam Freeborn flying down the slot. He is a 4-point night. And the Prowlers have another power play goal to pull within 3. As Liam Freeborn came right down the middle of the ice. Evan Foley found him, put it right on his tape. And the goals continue to come in this game. Crowd quiet here at the Annex, although their team still leads by 3. Dumped all the way down to Prowler ice. Deck hustling after it. They'll turn the corner and head up. Looking for Chartrand. Turn back the other direction. Foley and Johnson picking up the assist. So Alex Johnson with 4 helpers on the evening. He and Freeborn providing the bulk of the offense tonight, at least points-wise. Centering pass for Chartrand was knocked away. Jay gives it to Sim. All the way across to Federley at the point. Softly down to Chartrand. Cycles it for Jay. Keeps it moving for Sim. Jay again in the corner. He'll bang it around. That took a funny hop off the wall. And the Thunderbirds are able to clear. Federley settles that puck down. Goes D to Deck. Now Merritt fresh off the bench. Couldn't chip it by Keplinger. Back in is Ford. His shot off the stick of Alex Johnson. And it flies out of play with 7:53 to go in period 3. Nate Keeley and Sam Merritt in on this faceoff. It comes to Scantleberry, trying to work through Farmer, but he couldn't do it, and Schnapp goes all the way down behind the net to Sokolov. Played up to Jones. Now to Johnson. Backhands it up to Freeborn. But his pass to the boards only found Batita. Schnapp working out. Looking for Batita. Pass is too far in front. Johnson plays it back up the strong side. Freeborn on for Scantleberry. He'll hustle up. And he's knocked down by Bioni. And the crowd loving that one. Now it's Batita one-on-one against Deck. Batita with a power move, and he scores. And John Batita completes the hat trick here tonight for Carolina. And they'll toss the hats onto the ice. And it's just felt like tonight, as soon as the Prowlers get one back, get something going, Carolina scores again. These fans throw hats on the ice and then ask for them back. We'll take a moment to clean it up. As Chris Paulin trying to pump up his troops a little bit. A dejected looking group of Prowlers over there on the bench. But John Batita completes the hat trick. Victor Grebenikov will pick up the only assist on Batita's 7th goal of the year, snapping a 4-game point drought tonight in a big way. (8-4) Carolina. That one dumped in by Farmer. Deck on towards Williams. He couldn't handle it off the wall. Deck has it back. And now Farmer turning it the other direction. Up to Dumas. He's stapled to the glass by Federley. Deck the other direction. Tried to launch it out. Williams found it. It's kicked back by Panacek. And Pastuka's shot rose past the corner of the net. Here's Clay Keeley with his head up. He'll find Pastuca, who fell to the ice by himself, still trying to handle the puck. And he eventually gets it out. It goes all the way down. Federley retreating in his own end. Quick up to Foley. Curls. Gives it to Jay. Walks in, fires, and a low shot stopped by McClendon. Drive from the point right into Frankie McClendon. He'll hang on for a whistle and another face-off. We'll see if things get testy a little bit more again this period or not. Haven't really had too much in the way of that since the second intermission. Prowlers will get the offensive zone face-off between Merritt and Ford. Bioni around. Dumas worked it up towards Keplinger. They dig away on the near side wall. And Ford back to Grebenikov. Up to Keplinger. He just dumps it out. Baker after it in offensive territory. Jones there to meet him. Comes out to Ford, makes a move, and Sokolov with the save. They keep Gus Ford from the hat trick. Ford has it again. Poked off his stick. And Alex Johnson turns it over. Keplinger couldn't get a pass away. He's looking for Ford in front. Still has it, and he'll drop it off. But Jones takes it back for the Prowlers. Freeborn on for Scantleberry, working on Farmer. Outside shot steered away. Puck knocked down. Schnapp comes back for it. They'll play it up the near side wall. Want to give a big thanks to the Carolina Thunderbirds media crew for the use of their camera this weekend and all the help they've been all weekend long. We do keep things civil usually up here in the press box, for the most part. That puck dumped out. Here's Butita already with the hat trick. He'll pull up, but he fanned on the pass. Nate Keeley towards the net. Stopped by Sokolov. Butita wrestles one Prowler to the ice, but his shot was completely whiffed on. Prowlers take it back. 4 minutes left to go in this one, as Federley just ices the puck. And that will take us to our second media timeout of the period. Maybe third. I've lost track. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Imagine a world without pepperoni. Ugh, okay, enough of that. Now, imagine layer upon layer of pepperoni. That's Hungry Howie's Pepperoni Duo Pizza. Our fresh-made dough and 100% real mozzarella cheese topped with traditional pepperoni and a layer of our classic cup pepperoni for layer upon layer of flavor on flavor. For a limited time, just $9.99. Don't just imagine yourself enjoying one. Come get one now.
Hungry
Howie's! We invite you to tune in for our next broadcast on Friday, January 12th, when the Prowlers host the Watertown Wolves. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 6:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. If you can make that game in person, it'll be a good one to be at. It'll be the return of Dustin Henning, the former Prowlers captain, now the captain in Watertown. Pastuca fired that one wide. Be sure to get tickets to come support the Prowlers at some point that weekend. It'll be the start of the home games in 2024, which there are a lot of them. And Carolina has just taken a penalty. I don't think Sokolov knows it yet, and I don't think the Prowlers bench is going to tell him. Icing waved off as Farmer touches it. Slashing is called, and the parade to the penalty box continues. And Dominic Dumas is the guilty party. That one just your standard fare, 2 minutes for slashing. 3:16 left to go in this one. Scantleberry getting set for this face-off. Frankie McClendon will get himself set. And Scantleberry will take it against Nate Keeley. Off the draw, Foley gets it back to the point to Johnson. Wrist shot down, looking for Jones. Prowlers have pulled Sokolov, the extra attacker on the ice. We saw them do this in Motor City, down 5 goals in score. Now they're doing it down 4 with under 3 to play. Johnson whiffed. He gets the puck back. Foley behind the net. Out to Freeborn. Over to Jones. One-timer, he scores! And how about a hat trick for Mitch Jones? His 3rd power play goal of the night. And the Prowlers make it 8-5. And with all the goals they've scored, they've just been behind the entire night, have the Prowlers. And the supportive Winston-Salem crowd chanting for Frankie McClendon after Mitch Jones completes the hat trick. Of course, if you remember, last time the Prowlers were here, they were up 3-1, and this same crowd was chanting for Frankie McClendon to get out of the net. They wanted Mario Cavalieri. Thunderbirds ended up coming back and winning that game. I'm sure the fans changed their tune after that. They were chanting for Mario Cavalieri after the Prowlers' 3rd goal in that game. That one took a weird hop, and then Ford fired it wide looking for his hat trick. Sokolov went behind the net to try and play it. It hit off a stanchion, popped out in front. And luckily for the Prowlers, Ford just missed. Sim battling behind the net. And he tried to work it out. That was Johnson, excuse me. Tried to work it out. Sokolov goes back to the Prowlers bench. It looks like an empty netter coming as Baker will pawn it. And that will restore the 4-goal lead for Carolina and officially make it the most goals the Prowlers have given up in a game this season. And the very aggressive Chris Paulin pulling his netminder, trailing by 3. Liam Freeborn with a 5-point night now for the Prowlers. By the way, just with his assist on Jones' goal, and Freeborn becomes the first Prowler with 5 points in a game since December 26, 2022 in Elmira when Alex Johnson did it in the 10-3 win over the Mammoth. This result's a little bit different. Jones pulls up behind the net, and he'll hang out there. Only 5 players getting points tonight. Not very spread out scoring, certainly for Port Huron. As the final minute of this one begins to tick away. Prowlers will get a rest, and they'll get a little home cooking coming up next weekend That puck goes all the way down. Sokolov will play it to Federley. He'll hang out there as the Carolina faithful come to their feet. Jay fires one right in on McClendon, who will hang on for a whistle with 27.4 up on the clock. And the chance of Frankie coming down from the Thunderbirds fans. For their netminder, Frankie McClendon, who's given up 5 goals on 38 shots tonight. And it's lofted out to center. Johnson gloves it down. Plays it off the boards. Now Federley with 13. And he'll just skate it out in his own end. At least he wants to, but Dumas will force him to play it. Dumas trying to play it to the middle of the ice. Pastuca looking for one more, but Johnson came flying in to defend. That's going to do it. Thunderbirds, a wire-to-wire victory over the Prowlers tonight. 9-5 your final. It was all Carolina from the drop. And the Prowlers really never got back into this one. And of course, at times, it turned into a little bit of a gong show. Plenty of penalties, multiple players sent to the locker room early. Your final tonight, 9-5 for the Thunderbirds. We will invite you again to tune in to our next broadcast on Friday, January the 12th, when the Prowlers host the Watertown Wolves. Puck drop 7:05, pregame show 6:50, right here on the PHP Network. Thunderbirds outshoot the Prowlers 46-38. And they get a hat trick from John Butita, Dawson Baker with a 4-point night, Gus Ford, Peter Panacek, Keplinger, Grebenikov all have 3-point nights as well. A couple of points each for Schnapp and Pastuca. And again, the Prowlers only with points from 5 different players. They got the hat trick from Mitch Jones, Alex Johnson with 4 assists, Liam Freeborn a goal and 4 assists. But offensively, when you look at those numbers, a one-trick pony for the Prowlers, and that one trick works pretty well. It was the Mitch Jones one-timer on the power play. Prowlers man advantage went 4 for 12 officially tonight. They did give up 3 power play goals to Carolina. Evan Foley, a couple of assists. Tucker Scantleberry with a goal. And plenty of penalty minutes handed out to both sides. Both Ian Wallace and Makar Sokolov seeing time in this game, both struggling, and certainly you can't call this one all their fault, as the Prowlers defense gave them little help at times in this one. And again, your final tonight, 9-5 in favor of the Carolina Thunderbirds. That's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight here on the PHP Network. We hope to see you next time, either in the arena or here on the broadcast. But for now, I'm Will Wiggleman. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you next time on the PHP Network.
Thank you.